So ni pun suara masih lagi serak. Okay, we start with capacity and constraint management. Capacity kita dah start. Design capacity dah cover belum?
Sampai bottleneck, Doktor.
Sampai bottleneck, Doktor.
Bottleneck, pengiraan bottleneck dah kira kan?
Hari tu identify pengiraan dia rasanya.
Kejap. Saya tak ingat, saya macam break even yang belum.
Break even belum lagi.
Okay, yang ni bottleneck.
Ah.
Throughput time dah, betul?
Dah.
Yang ni pun, yang dua lain ni pun dah kan?
Dah juga.
Okay. Okay, break even yang kita perlu masuk.
Yep.
Okay, basically, sekejap. So, for break-even analysis, the technique for evaluating process and equipment alternative lah. So, if let's say you have two types of machines, and then you want to evaluate which machine that you should buy for the company. Okay. So, the objective is try to find the point in dollars and units at which cost equals revenue. So, we're trying to find the least cost, and then which point that if let's say we buy that machine, which point yang we will receive the profit first. Okay, how many units that we produce, at which point that we will start receiving the profit. Okay. So it requires estimation of fixed cost, variable cost, and revenue. So what is the fixed cost? Okay, fixed costs are costs that continue even if number units are produced. Okay, so it will include all the depreciation, tax, debt, mortgage payment. So fixed cost, for example, if you buy the machine, okay, if you buy something and then even though you produce many products, but the fixed cost will not change. Okay, for example, if you rent the building, the mortgage, if you rent the building or you buy the building, whatever units that you produce and the payment of the building will not be changed. Similar with apa lagi kalau fixed cost? For the machine, if let's say you buy the machine, then even though you produce the products 200,000 versus with 500,000 units, but the price of the machine, the cost of the machine is still same. So that is fixed cost. Similar with tax. Tax, whatever you produce the products, and then it not calculated based on number of products, but it based on number of months. So that is tax. Otherwise, for variable costs are costs that vary with the volume of units produced. For example, labor. Okay, if you produce 500,000 units, you need 10 labor. But if you produce 500 units, 500,000 units, then you may need similar number, okay, 10 people, 10 laborers, but you need to pay them extra because they need extra time to produce another 300 units. You may pay them the OT. So that is labor, because the payment that we pay to the labor will depends on the number of units. Similar with material. If you produce a product with 200,000 units, you may need, for example, 5,000 kilogram of material. But if you produce 500,000 units, then of course the material have to add some more. Okay. So it will depends on the units that we produce. Similar with portion of utilities. You need the electricity. If you produce 200,000 units versus 500,000 units, of course the utilities for 500,000 units will be increased. Yeah. So the contribution is the difference between selling price and variable cost. So what is the revenue? Revenue is the selling price. Okay. Or in other words, revenue function begins at the origin and proceed upward to the right, increasing by the selling price of each unit. Okay. So later we will draw the diagram for break-even analysis. So where the revenue function cross the total cost line is the break-even point. So we have revenue, we have total cost, which is fixed cost plus variable cost. So the cross of the line, we call it as break-even point. Okay, this is how we will draw the diagram. Right. So fixed cost, okay, kita buat satu-satu dulu. Fixed cost is fixed lah. Whatever units that you produce, okay, from 0 until 1,100 units, so the fixed cost is the same. So it will flat. Okay. But when we want to draw the total cost, which is fixed cost plus variable cost, you have to start from a fixed cost point. So if let's say the fixed cost is $200, so the total line should start with $200 plus with the slope for the variable cost that will be increased from 0 to 1,100 units volume. Okay, so the blue line is the total cost, which is fixed cost plus variable cost. While the total revenue line, okay, because total revenue is the selling price. So we start with selling price is 0. And then when we sell 100 units, then the selling price will be increased. 300 units will be increased. Then afterwards, you can plot the total revenue line. So the cross line here between total revenue line and total cost line, we call it as break-even point, where this break-even point is the total cost equal with total revenue. So when you draw a line from this cross line, so meaning that about 400 something, okay, before 500, okay, about 400 something is the point when you reach the volume at 400 something. It means that is the starting point the company will receive profit afterwards. Okay, so that's why we have here profit corridor, because starting from this point, this volume, okay, the company will receive the profit. There is a difference between total revenue line minus with total cost line. So that this is the profit of the company. While on the left hand side, before the break-even point, so this is the loss corridor, where the difference between total cost and total revenue is the point that whatever you sell, whatever you get, is trying to cover all the costs that you spend for fixed costs and variable costs in order to produce the product. Okay. Alright. Ada yang tak faham on this diagram? Okay. So when we perform the break-even analysis, we have to assume a few assumptions. Cost and revenue are linear functions. Generally not the case in the real world, because for the real world, if let's say you buy apa for certain quantity, and then of course they will have the adjustment on the price. Okay, the more that you buy, the more cheaper per unit will be. But in this case, for break-even analysis, because this is a very simple calculation, so you can have the assumption where the cost and revenue are always linear function. Okay, we actually know this cost. So in this case, we have to know the fixed cost and we have to know the variable cost. But in real life, it is actually difficult to calculate clearly for variable cost and fixed cost. But we can estimate. From this break-even analysis, we can estimate all the costs. And another assumption is time value of money is often ignored. Okay, time value of money. We back to the previous subchapter about the depreciation. Okay, so this will be ignored. This is on the break-even analysis is only the purpose for break-even analysis is to get the assumption how many product, how many volume of units that we have to produce in order to start receiving the profit. Okay. So as we know, the total revenue, okay, TR is total revenue, equal with TC, total cost. So what is the total revenue? Total revenue is the price per unit after all the discounts. Price per unit multiply with the number of units produced. So you will get PX, where total cost equal fixed cost plus variable cost. So variable cost, since the variable cost, it depends on the units. So the variable cost have to multiply with the number of units produced. Because fixed cost, they will give one lump sum of money. But for variable cost and for revenue or price per unit, the cost will be in per unit. Okay. So that's why you have to multiply with the number of units produced. So break-even point, you know that the break-even point from for apa tu? The break-even point is equal with fixed cost divide with P minus V. Okay, so where we get it, it start from here. Okay, so Px equal F plus Vx, and then you kumpulkan the X, and then you will get F divide by P per V. Okay, this is how you you calculate and get the point. Okay, sorry, another one is profit. So profit is equal TR minus TC. Okay, we know the difference between revenue line minus with cost line, total cost line. So TR we know PX, TC is F plus VX. So you keluarkan from the bracket. So Px minus F minus Fx, then P minus V bracket multiply with X minus F. So this is the profit. Okay, this is very simple. We will start with example. Okay, can you see the questions?
Yes, Doctor.
All right. So this is test question. Test one question. Okay, a manufacturing company produce product PQR. There are two different processes that are able to produce product PQR. So we have process A and process B to produce the product PQR. Okay. So we have a rental cost, we have installation cost, we have material cost per unit, we have labor cost per unit, and revenue per unit. Okay, when you get this type of question, first you have to identify which one is fixed cost and variable cost. Okay, which one is fixed cost?
Rental costs.
Okay, rental cost. Okay,
Installation cost.
Installation cost.
installation cost. Okay, ada lagi?
Tak ada dah kot.
Je.
Tak ada dah.
Yang lain tu per
So
unit.
only rental cost and installation cost. So it means the total for fixed cost. Okay, kita letak kat sini. Insert 2, 3. So kat sini information. Sorry. Okay, information. Okay, this one is for process A. This one is for process B. So this one is fixed cost. Fixed cost you will get berapa? 34,000. Betul? But 24 plus 10,000 kan? Okay, what about process B? Apa total fixed cost?
58,000.
28,000. Okay. Okay, so now you have to calculate the variable cost. So variable cost berapa? Apa total variable cost?
28.
30.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 30 pula.
28. 28.
28. Variable cost.
14.
14. Because variable cost is only material and labor. Revenue is the selling price. Okay. So 6 plus 8. So 14 lah. 14 ringgit per unit. So this one have to put in per unit. Okay, what about process B?
12.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12. Okay, per unit. Okay. And the last one is the revenue. Revenue is 16 ringgit per unit. And this one also 16 ringgit per unit. Okay. When you get that, and then you can start draw a line lah. Okay. Okay, saya tak nak tunjuk yang dekat sini. Kita draw yang baru. So draw. So kalau fixed cost 28 dengan 34 kan. So we start kat sini, katalah kat sini adalah 28. 28K. Sini adalah 34. So for process A, it will start here. And process B will be here. Oh, sekejap. Ada one more thing that you have to know. Okay. In order to know the slope, okay, in order to know the slope of the line, it will depends on the variable cost. So variable cost, if let's say you get the lesser of the variable cost, it means the slope will be a bit lower. Okay. So for example, in this case, we have 28. Okay, we have 28, dia lebih landai. For yang ni dia akan lebih tinggi. Okay, something like that. Okay. So this is for process A. This one for process B. Okay. Then you will start the revenue. Revenue is here, starting from 0. Because revenue is 16, so the slope should be sharper. Right. Then we will see the question. Okay, based on the information given, decide which process is economical to produce product PQR. Sketch a suitable graph and label it to show the economical range of quantity to produce product PQR. Okay, in this case, we can see here lah, where we have to calculate the break-even point. So now how many lines yang cross? If let's say you have 3 lines, means you will get 2 points. 2 points yang akan cross. Okay. Sorry, 3 lines. If you have 2 processes and then you include the revenue, so you have 3 lines. So if 3 lines means you will get at least 2 points yang akan cross the line. Okay. So for example, first you have to find the cross line between process A and process B. But in here, we cannot see clearly, so maybe you can extend the line here to make sure the line is crossed. And this will be okay. So the cross line is here at negative number. Okay, sekejap ya, anak saya nak pergi toilet.
Korang nak lagu ke?
Min.
Kali ni tak boleh. Ada cara macam tak sihat. Next time.
Okay. Alright. So you have to calculate the break even for process A and process B. So how you want to calculate? So TCA equal TCB. So what is the total cost for TCA? 34 plus 14. So 34,000 plus 14 Q lah kan, 14X equal with TCB berapa? 28 and 12. 28,000 plus 12X. Okay. So 14 minus 12X, it means 2X equal, okay, 28 minus 34 apa? Negative 6,000 kan? So means X is negative 3 lah, 3,000. Okay. So when you back to your diagram here, so they cross at negative points. That's why when you draw, you have to make sure the slope, apa tu? The slope will be based on the variable cost. The higher the variable cost, the more slope will be. The lower the variable cost, the lower of the slope will be. Okay. Kalau tak, you won't get this at the back line. Yeah. Selalu even maksud you je nah. Dua-dua proses sama maksudnya? Tak faham. Oh, maksud you dia punya unit ni? Taklah, not necessary. Revenue is the price, the selling price for the unit. It could be even, it could be odd numbers. Ada lagi seorang yang tunggu kat luar. Alah, dah nak habis dah pun. Okay, lagi 5 minutes kita habis kelas lah. Revenue tak, tak ada masalah. Okay, first, they will ask you, apa, kalau dia kata, biasanya, okay, faham. Nak pancake, ask kakak. Okay, revenue is the price for the unit. Okay, first you have to select which process is suitable to choose. So biasanya revenue tu sama lah. Whatever process that you select, the selling price for the unit should be at the same price. Okay. Tak faham sangat. Tak, dia, can I speak in Malay for all international students? Okay. Revenue tu harga jualan yang kita jual. So right now for this question, okay, they provide dua proses, proses A and proses B. Tapi sebelum kita jual, kita nak tahu proses mana yang you akan guna supaya produk yang you nak jual tu, you akan menggunakan proses yang mana yang lebih cheaper. So that's why you have to calculate the break-even point. After you calculate the break-even point, and then baru you kira dia punya profit. So macam mana nak kira profit? You will use total revenue minus dengan total cost. So apa yang kita buat sekarang ni, kita nak try to find the lowest cost of the process in order to produce the product. Kita belum sampai profit lagi. Okay, faham. So sekarang ni kita nak cari dia punya break even point yang kat mana yang proses yang point yang dekat mana yang company akan start menerima profit. So later nanti baru kita calculate the total profit lah. Total profit yang you akan get after you select which process is the most economical. Okay. Alright.
Yang ni related dengan economies of scale kah?
Economy of scale.
Dia macam lagi besar your production unit, number of production of unit, the higher the margin.
No, not necessarily. Okay, this saya kena back balik pada siapa yang tanya? You lambat masuk ke apa tadi?
Tak ada kan? Dari awal dah masuk.
Yeah. Mana objektif dia tadi? Okay. So the break-even analysis, the objective is to find the point in dollars and units at which cost equals revenue.
I see.
Okay. Kita nak cari point yang mana proses ke ataupun mesin ke, dia punya point yang mana dollar dia, cost dia dan unit dia adalah sama dengan revenue. Tapi untuk yang Sorry, saya cakap seorang-seorang tadi. Okay. Okay, how you want to know which one you will see the lowest line. Okay, so in this case, the lowest line is the process B lah. Where process A ni always upper line kan. So it means the cost for process B, process A is always higher. Okay, so in this case, process B at the lowest points. So therefore, X more than 0, so the process B is more economical. So that is to answer for question 1. Okay. All right. So question B, if the average demand of product PQR is 50,000 units per year, which process should be selected? So assume that there is no other cost involved and no new customer orders and show your justification either by graph or calculation. So if sorry. So if the demand is 50,000 units per year, so means based on the calculation 50,000, okay, ni you will use the profit equation where profit equal revenue multiply with X minus with total cost. Okay. So revenue tadi yang 16 ringgit, selling price. So the difference between harga jual tolakkan dengan total cost. So harga jual you X adalah demand dia 50,000. So you put 16X minus 34,000 for FA and minus with 14X. So you will get 2X minus 34,000. So you replace the X with the demand. X is 50,000. So you will get the profit is 66,000. So that is if let's say you choose process A. But now you already select the process B because process B at the lowest point. So if let's say the process B at the lowest points means of course process B will receive more profit because profit is the difference between line process B and revenue. Similar with process A. But process A, the difference at the upper level. So dia punya apa tu? Dia punya revenue, the profit will be smaller. Okay. So for process B, revenue multiply with X minus total cost. So you will get 4X minus for 28,000. So you replace X with 50,000. So 4 multiplied with 50,000 minus 28,000. So you will get the profit is 172,000. So therefore, the process B is selected due to the total profit for process B is higher than process A. Itu kan dia tanya tadi ya soalan ni, soalan B ni. Dia kata if the average demand of it is 50,000, so you replace lah 50,000. Kalau dia kata 100,000, then you replace the Q with 100,000. Okay. Macam mana? Soalan A. Begini. Yelah. Kalau X equal 0, maknanya there is no selling price. There is no selling units. Dia macam ni sebab kita dah pukul 9 buat ni. Okay, I will try to find other questions where you have to buat, okay. Dia kadang-kadang kalau X ni, katalah you dapat macam ni. You ada 2 line ataupun mungkin you ada 3 proses. Saya tak kena pula sekejap. Ada kelas ke lepas ni? Pukul 10. Yang lain pun sama ke?
Sama doktor.
Sama, okay. So sempatlah saya explain ni sekejap. Sekejap. Dia ada satu case. Dia ada satu case macam ni. So dia punya point yang bersilang kat sini. Nampak tak? So this one is Q1, this one is Q2. Saya lukis tempat lain lah sekejap. Tadi saya dengar ada seorang yang gelakkan suara saya. Siapa yang gelakkan suara saya tadi? Saya dah demam 4 hari. Okey. 4 hari ke? Since hari Sabtu. Sabtu, Ahad, Isnin, Selasa, Rabu. Ini Rabu kan? 5 hari dah. Okey, ada case you punya line macam ni. Oh, tak nampak skrin sekejap. Okay. So ada case yang macam ni. So katalah yang ni proses A, ini proses B, ini proses C. Okay. So ini of course the cost lah. So ini adalah units. Okay. So when you calculate, okay, katalah kat sini between process C and process B, you get Q after you calculate, and then you get Q 1000 unit. Okay. And between process B and process A, you get Q equal with katalah kat sini 5000 units. Okay. So I said the lowest points, okay, the lowest lines is always the most economical. So in this case, kita tukar. So yang the lowest line is here. Ni yang the lowest. Sekejap ada student. Okay. So when the lowest kita kan ada 3 proses. So ada 3 proses ni. First you have to calculate dia punya cross line. Bila you calculate the cross line, you will get the Q dia, kat mana Q ataupun kat mana RM dia yang common. So nanti bila dia kata okay, the demand of the product is 6,000 units. So kalau 6,000 units, of course you have to choose proses A. Kat sini proses A. Sebab 6,000 units selepas Q ni kan. So you akan pilih yang kat sini, line kat sini. Proses A yang akan more economical. Tapi kalau dia kata demand adalah 500 units. So 500 units, you will use proses B, proses C. Sebab proses C ni, dia akan economical bila dia punya Q dia adalah less than 1000 units. Kalau dia punya Q dia adalah 3000, tadi kan ada question B tu, dia bagi demand dia berapa kan? So katalah kalau macam demand dia adalah 3000 units, so if 3000 units, then you have to use process B, because process B will be economical if the quantity between 1000 until 5000 units. That's why the previous one. Okay, if let's say sharp at 1000, so you can either choose process C or process B. So there is transaction between, is a cross line between C and B. Kat point ni. Kalau kat point ni pula, if exactly 5000, so you can choose either process B or process A. So cost dia sama.
Faham doktor.
So the way you write, okay, because just now I want to answer your friend's question. Why the previous question I put if X more or equal 0 kan? So right now, if let's say you get this type of form of questions, the way you write is if Q, oh, sorry. Okay dah. So if Q between 0 until 1000, you will use, okay, which one? Process? Process C lah. Process C will be selected. Okay, if let's say you get me less or equal, but if let's say, okay, you also can put sama lah, sama 1000. So if let's say the Q is between or equal with 1000, and equal with 5000, so you have to choose process. Siapa? Process B. Process B will be selected. And the last one, if let's say Q is more or equal with 5000, so you will choose process E. Itulah dia. That's why in the previous one is the simplest one. So I just put X or Q. Okay, you can put X or Q. So more than or equal with 0, then you have to choose the process B. Okay, I try to find other types of questions which is yang similar with this question. And then you try to do it and try by yourself. And then you discuss with your friends. And then once you get the answer, you just post in WhatsApp group. Maybe you can, your friends can double check together with you lah. Okay. Kalau saya sempat, kalau saya rasa macam sehat ke apa, kalau sempat saya layan, saya tengok lah. Okay.
Alright. Alright.
Alright. So I will post the question later in WhatsApp group.
Okay,
so
okay,
with
thank
that,
you.
Okay, with that I end this session. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you,
Hello.
Doktor.
Salam. Thank you, Doktor.
Soon, Doctor. Get well soon.
Get well soon, Doktor.
Huh?
Thank you, Doktor. Get
Get well soon. Get well soon.
Okay, thank you very much.